Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 55th annual meeting of the Federation of Southern Cooperatives and the 21st annual Estelle Witherspoon Lifetime Achievement Award Dinner. Our theme tonight is cooperative advocacy, a collective strategy toward achieving equity. As we prepare to share our wonderful evening with the Honorable Dr. Bernard Lafayette, we thank him for his service and contributions to the cooperative movement. I am pleased to introduce our Master and Mistress of Ceremonies for the evening. Our Master of Order is the Reverend Wendell Paris, formerly of the Federation staff, and the current Associate Pastor for the Membership Care at the New Hope Baptist Church in Jackson, Mississippi. Our Mistress of Order is Dr. Carol Zippert, the President of the Greene County Employees Federal Credit Union and co-publisher of the Greene County Democrat newspaper in Utah, Alabama. Please join me in welcoming our Master and Mistress of Order as they come to the stage.
Thank you, Sister Alice. First of all, I want to give thanks to the Almighty for this moment. We have this moment, and we don't know if we'll have the next. So I want to first thank the Almighty that we can gather in this moment. So good evening, and welcome to our family reunion. We made the big double nickel, the 5-5. So that got to stand for something, you know. And I like to tell folks that, you know, John and I and Wendy and Alice and George, we were all part of starting the Federation, as we consider ourselves founders. But I remind folk at that time we were very, very young, you know. So before we get started, I'm going to ask my dear brother, the Reverend Wendell Paris, to come and offer the leaders in the invocation. Reverend Paris.
The gentleman that's just sitting down right there is none other than Charles Prejean with his wife Carmen. Charles is the first director, executive director of the Federation of Southern Cooperatives. Let's give him both a hand. Call them Carl. Let us bow for a word of prayer. I lift mine eyes to the hills. From whence does my help come? Your help comes from the Lord, who made the heavens and the earth. He will not suffer your foot to be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade on your right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. The Lord keeps your going out and your coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Dear Lord, we come this evening on this very auspicious occasion, the 55th anniversary celebration of the Federation of Southern Cooperative Land Assistance Fund and the 26th year of celebrating the Estelle Witherspoon Lifetime Achievement Award. Father, we know that we reached both of those milestones as a result of your loving us, of your providing for us, for your protecting us, for your guiding us from one good degree of grace to another. And for that, we're indeed thankful. Dear Lord, thank you for allowing us during this time of this pandemic together once again, as Carol has said, our family gathering. And we do consider it a family reunion because all across the South, those of us who have suffered, those who have died, those who have committed to this struggle, we have to become one because we are one with thee. We ask that you bless all of the workshops, all of the informal discussions and deliberations that our membership will have while they're here and gathered here, as well as any else. And we ask that you just be with us as we celebrate this evening. Lord, we have much to celebrate. The most thing that we have to celebrate is that we have kinship. We have a place of rest. We have a provision prepared for us through your son Jesus and him dying on the cross. And in and through him, we have the right to live eternally with you forever. And for that, we are indeed thankful. And let us all say together, amen.
Thank you, Brother Wendy. And I have to take this personal privilege moment to welcome and salute my brother, my blood brother, Charles Oren Prejean, you know. And my sister friend, Carmen, you know. Charles didn't like it when we were young and I would follow him around. That's how I got into the co-op movement. But I liked him so much, I followed him anyway, you know. Little sisters like their big brothers. So at this time, those who can, we ask that you stand, and as we salute ourselves, salute our heritage, salute our culture, our history, our struggles, and how we made it over with the singing of Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Rejoicing,
That was powerful. You know, and I mentioned that Charles Préjean started us off in 1967. But today, for the 55th, we are led by none other than our CEO, Mr. Cornelius Blanding. And I will ask Mr. Blanding and the chairwoman of our board, Ms. Shirley Blakely, to come forward with greetings at this time.
Thank you, Carol. Good evening, family. Good evening. You know, it's been 2+ years since we've been able to gather together in person to fellowship, and for that, I am grateful. For that, I am grateful. With that, greetings, members, farmers, landowners, cooperatives, and friends. First and foremost, thank you for your dedicated service to rural America and its stakeholders, especially those working tirelessly in communities of color. As board chair, I and fellow board members applaud our organization for its commitment to facilitating this year's annual meeting, allowing our members to fellowship and convene again in person. In 2022, we've seen the wounding impact of rising costs due to inflation as a growing deficit, its resources available for low-income and undeserved communities. Amid these economic challenges, we are also increasingly concerned that the needs of our Black farmers, landowners, and cooperatives are continuing to go unmet due to unfair opposition and dissension in our nation. We have not and will not yield our determination to alleviate these issues and shall continue to be fearless advocates, much-needed infrastructure enhancement and resource development to execute our mission. For 55 years, the Federation of Southern Cooperative Land Assistance Fund has remained resilient and steadfast in ensuring our members' voices are amplified. We recognize that cooperative advocacy and a collective strategy towards achieving equity are the only path going forward. We thank our partners, supporters. As always, we reaffirm our commitment to our members, owners, and salute you to your dedication and this prestigious organization. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Planning Committee for their hard work and sacrifices in making this year's annual meeting a success. Once again, thanks to all of you, and joy as we move forward on this cooperative journey. With that said, I yield to our Executive Director, Mr. Cornelius Blanding.
Thank you, Shirley. First of all, let me say thank you. It's a blessing to be here and to be in the footsteps of so many that stand here. I see a lot of my mentors, Carol and John Zippert, Wendy, Alice and George Parrish, Hank and Rose Sanders, but more importantly, my predecessor, and it's a blessing to be here with Mr. Charles Prejean and his family, my predecessor's predecessor. So it's a truly a blessing to be here after such a long, I think 3 years since we've been together. And so we come together this time, and it took a lot to try to get us here. Look forward to the next 3 days, but I say congratulations to you, 55 years. Congratulations, Federation. As we come together to honor yet another soldier, a servant out there, Dr. Bernard Lafayette. This is a special night, so we honor you during our 55th anniversary and the 21st Estelle Witherspoon Lifetime Achievement Award. This night wouldn't be possible without you all, without our members, our staff, all the folks who've come together, who came together years ago, and all of our partners. And I just want to call out a few because you all make this night possible for us. We have folks like our signature partner, the Socially Disadvantaged Farmers and Ranchers Policy Research Center located at Alcorn State University. We have a team from J. Crew, who's a proud sponsor for us tonight. CoBank, NCB, the National Cooperative Bank, Nationwide Insurance. We have our partners from USDA here, NCBA CLUSA, the Co-op Development Foundation, Rockdale Capital. We have folks from Nyman Ranch, and a list of others. As the night go on, there's a copy of who all our partners are, the sponsors, and you'll see them. We'll continue to honor them throughout the night. You helped make this night possible. So again, congratulations to you, to all of us, to the Federation of Southern Cooperatives, to all those that came before us. Congratulations, and we look forward to celebrating this night.
Thank you, Shirley and Cornelius. It's so good to see young folk at the helm. You know, it's time for them to carry that baton. You know, and that baton gets heavy sometimes, and us old folk get tired. So we need the young folk to pick it up and carry it on and hold it high. So this family reunion, and this is what it is, y'all. This is our family reunion. And family is a place that you got to always feel that you can come back to. You got to be able to feel you got a place to come back to. So you can always come back to the Federation. At this time, we will have some special greetings from some of our friends and family members. And I will call all the names and ask that you come up here to give your greetings. We have from Nationwide, David Furman, Vice President of Sponsor Relations. From National Cooperative Bank, Casey Fanon, CEO, National Cooperation Business Association, Doug O'Brien. Our own attorney, spiritual leader, Hank Sanders, Senator Hank Sanders. So if y'all would come up and give greetings, we would be blessed.
Good evening. I am obviously not Casey Fannin, but he had a family matter to attend to, but I am John Holtzclaw, the National Cooperative Bank, and on behalf of our board of directors, as well as our CEO, Casey Fannin, I bring you greetings. And I've been wanting to tell this story all day, especially after our roundtable. I promise it'll be very quick. Back in the early 60s, President Kennedy visited one of the space centers in Texas. And he went to the tour, he saw all the fancy gadgets, and he was walking down a hallway and he saw a black custodian who was mopping the floor. And he said to that custodian, he said, "Hi, I'm Jack Kennedy. What are you doing?" And he stood up, poked his chest out, as well as straightened his shoulders, and he said, "Mr. President, I'm putting a man on the moon." And so the point of the story is, no matter where you are in this whole cooperative movement, no matter who you are, no matter what position you have, we all have a part to do in promoting cooperative development. And so let's all do our part to advance it as well. Have a great evening. Thank you so much.
Thanks, John. I think I'll build on that very quickly. I am Doug O'Brien. I'm with the National Cooperative Business Association. We're the umbrella association for cooperatives here in the United States. We've been around for about 106 years, and well over half, in fact, about 55 of those years, we've been honored to have the Federation of Southern Cooperatives as part of the cooperative community. In that spirit, I think I'll just say that I'm so grateful, and I'm bringing greetings and thanksgiving from the cooperative community here in the United States. And I'm grateful for a number of things. As was mentioned earlier, grateful that we are able to be back together. It is so good to be back in Birmingham. So good for folks to be back in Epps tomorrow and the next day for that fellowship. And fellowship on behalf of the communities and the people and the families and the farms that are the Federation of Southern Cooperatives Land Assistance Fund. We're grateful, I'll speak for the cooperative community, we are grateful for the continued inspiration of the Federation. At NCBA CLUSA, our vision is for more people to use cooperatives to build a more inclusive economy. There is no better example and no better inspiration than the work of the Federation in these 55 years. And this is not a historical thing. This is a thing that's happening now, and it's a thing that's happening tomorrow, and it's the leaders in this room that are making that happen. So I'm thankful for that inspiration. And finally, I'm just thankful for the fellowship and the friendship and the food and the farmers who brought this food to the table today. So thank you, everyone, and I'm really looking forward to this evening's program.
Good evening, my brothers and sisters. As I was coming up on the stage, I realized that they didn't have any bars that you could hold on as you came up. And I remember what my mother said. She said, "Son, take what you have and make what you need." So I just reached down, put my hand on the floor, and stepped on up here. That's the spirit of the Federation of Southern Cooperatives, and that's the spirit of Estelle Witherspoon, whom this event is dedicated to and named afterward. And I was thinking of how powerful it is to take something that many would think is something not good, not worth anything, and make something out of it that is not only good but beautiful. And that's the power of quilts. I remember when I was growing up, my folks, they would always get rags, piece of rags, and cut them up and sew them together and make something to cover us, but also make something that's beautiful. And that's what the Federation has been doing all of these years. It took poor black farmers from across the South and beyond and pull them together in a way that they made something strong and make something beautiful. And that's the spirit that I greet you in tonight. And it's good to be back in person. You know, it's all right to be on Zoom. It's all right to be on conference call. But every now and then, we need to touch each other.
Now, that's what I call brotherly love. All right. And, you know, Hank is so right about quilts. You know, you put the pieces together and something beautiful comes out. And Mrs. Witherspoon, whom we are honoring again tonight, when John and I first got married, she made us a star quilt, black and white star quilt. And she said, "This will bless your marriage." And you know, we go, we got the 55 too. Also, we had the double nickel as well. So that quilt did something. Okay. I want to ask Mr. Blanding if he would come back and introduce the Deputy Secretary, USDA Deputy Secretary at this time.
Carol, you called me to introduce the Deputy Secretary of Agriculture, and I'm not going to do that because she had to leave. But I do want to take this time, and instead of introducing the Deputy Secretary, talk about this historic evening. From that standpoint, the Deputy Secretary came down to for a press conference we held at 1 o'clock, and there was a few of you all who were in the room, but a lot of us who weren't there. And so instead of introducing the Deputy Secretary, I want to talk about that this evening. First of all, she did leave a capable team behind, so there's many folks from USDA in the room, from agents, from APHIS, Office of Partnership and Public Engagement, NRCS, the U.S. Forest Service, FSA, and others. So many of the team from USDA is still here. But she came down, and they're here because they announced a historical agreement. One of the problems that we've always worked on, and I didn't mention one of my other mentors, Jerry Pinnick, and I learned about the heirs property when I got to the Federation through Jerry and others. But heirs property has been an issue that this organization and others have worked on for almost 50 years. And I see folks like Rose Sanders in the room who started on that issue when we first started studying it 45 years ago. But today, the secretary came down to announce a new agreement. USDA put together something after the 2018 Farm Bill called the Heirs Property Relending Program, where they're going to lend $5 million so folks who have heirs property issues can directly borrow money from that $5 million pot to clear up their heirs property, to pay for attorneys or anything they need to clear up heirs property. There were 3 of those heirs property relenders, 2 Native American relenders, and 1 for black farmers and landowners. And the Federation is one of the relenders for that with our partner Shared Capital. who will be the CDFI behind it. So we have a historic agreement, and with USDA, we're also signing an agreement so that we can provide the outreach to folks to make sure that they're able to utilize those services. So again, it was a historical day when the first black female Deputy Secretary of Agriculture came down to announce that. And with that, we have a lot of other folks in the room. We have folks from Matagorda Bay, Texas, who are with us for the first time. I think some of our partners from the National Latino Farmers and Ranchers in the room. Yes. The Matagorda Bay, these are fishermen from down in Texas whose waters were polluted by a plastic company, and they're working to get organized to solve their own problems in their own communities. And so this is the work that's possible when we come together. We signed the MOU with Stillman College to start taking accounting students out of Stillman to work as field accountants in our community. We have one of the professors from Stillman here with us tonight. And that goes along with the partnerships we've had all along with Tuskegee, with Alcorn, with Southern University and others to get professional students to be out in the field. So you've probably seen some of these legal fellows working around to help solve this heirs property issue. So it's time for us to put our youth to work to solve our problems. And we've started that, and so I want to make sure I recognize that. There's some folks in here from a fellowship, from the Braiding Seeds Fellowship, working with other mentor farmers and others. And again, Share Capital, one of the CDFIs that we're working with to make all this possible so we can get these monies out there and start finally solving some of the issues in our community. But again, I wanted to make sure that we weren't introducing the Deputy Secretary tonight, but she left a trail behind, and we look forward to continue to do this work. It's a historical day, and we look forward to the work moving forward. So again, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blanding. You know, folks, we have to always remember and recall from whence we've come. So at this time, I think we're going to view a historical video of the Federation of Southern Cooperatives.
We won't forget when our voices were silenced on everything that touched our lives.
You took your life in your hands when you went anywhere, particularly if you were going somewhere talking about freedom and independence and cooperative farming.
The beatings, burnings, and lynchings are stamped forever on those who survived.
The Federation emerged in 1967. Directly out of the civil rights movement.
Once we had supposedly the acknowledgement of our rights, it was incumbent upon us to live through those rights.
We won't forget our struggles because we have each other.
The Federation is there with the people, accompanying the people.
We are bound to the land to give it care as we do one another.
We must not cut ourselves off from the land, urban and rural.
We will be lifted by the hands we join.
And as if things are hard, look like we get better and we go stronger.
We will rebuild and it will be strong.
So we decided in our communities that we were going to pool resources and build enterprises.
We will gather our strength by embracing our faith, and our voices will be heard in all we create.
Federation has been the godsend for empowering our people.
We are a resilient people. We bounce back, stand up, and move forward. We don't wallow in confusion. We rebuild by embracing cooperative solutions.
And that's who we are. At this time, I'm going to share one of my writings, as I traditionally do. I hope y'all don't mind. This is called The Cooperatives We Build. We build cooperatives to strengthen families, bond communities, and form our children's values. We sustain cooperatives for a good living today and a better livelihood tomorrow. As we build cooperatives, we join hands and hearts in tasks often too difficult to accomplish alone, too dangerous to hope for success, and seemingly too costly to deem worthy. We build cooperatives through faith, walking the rows, tilling the earth, tending the roots, bearing the fruits of our labors and our prayers. We build cooperatives, pooling financial resources, becoming moonbeams, lightening debts heavy on us, and giving clarity for tomorrow's investments. We build cooperatives that are our teachers, schooling our growth, our preparedness, our wholeness, growing our humanity. And the cooperatives we build today are our stalwart lighthouses illuminating paths through seen and unseen obstacles. They are the pyramids eternal and towering, even on seemingly barren ground. They are the time and treasures we give our children. We build cooperatives for us and for them. We build cooperatives today and the next. We build cooperatives to live and to die well. Thank y'all very much. And I think at this time I'm going to have Reverend Parrish, Wendell Parrish, to come and bless the food that you've already eaten.
Carol got it exactly right, didn't she? Paul Laurence Dunbar wrote a poem called The Party. And in this party, it's written in the dialect, the Negro dialect as it was called at that time. But what it did, he wrote in dialect and helped us preserve, or helped us to begin to appreciate, or once again appreciate, the varied cultures that we have, that makes up our family. And a part of this party that he wrote about, they had a big dance, and this fella had jumped around and broke the line and hit into this fireplace. And needless to say, when he came up out of that fireplace, he'd like to stop the party. And I'll say what it says. Well, it like to stop the party, and reckon like is not, if Tom's wife Mandy hadn't helped him on the spot to invite us out to supper. And we scrambled to the table. Now, I'd like to tell you about it, what we had, but I ain't able. I mentioned there's a few things, but I know I had an offer, because he's going to come in and hankering, your mouth going to start to water. Well, we had wheat bread just like cotton, and an egg pone just like gold, roasted short, boiling hot and steaming, and ham sliced cold. So look them out. What the matter with you? Don't be falling on the floor. If it's going to affect you that way, I won't tell you nothing more. There now. Well, we had hot chitlins. Is you again trying to fall? Can't you stand there hear about it? Suppose you'd have been there and seen it all. See them great old big sweet potatoes laid by that possum's side. If you'd have seen that coon and all his gravy, I reckon then you'd have up and died. Tom, he said, I don't believe in no apologizing and professing. Let them take it like they catch it. Elder Thompson asked the blessing. I wish you could have seen that colored preacher. Cleared his throat, bowed his head, one eye shut, one eye open. This is ever what he said. Lord, look down in tender mercy on such generous hearts as these. Make us truly thankful. Amen. Pass that possum if you please. And since we already consuming this excellent meal, we'll just bow and say, dear Lord, we thank you for allowing us together on this auspicious occasion to enjoy this meal. Lord, we bless the hands that have prepared it. We bless the reason that we have come together for it to facilitate the purpose for that you have sent us here. And we just thank you so much for allowing us to come once again to the Federation's family, where we love on each other, but we also look and plan and put together ideas that's going to work to benefit and to elevate your chosen people, those of you said that you call special, the orphans, the widows, the handicapped, the strangers and the poor and the oppressed. And we thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be a part of your special family. And again, we thank you for this meal. Amen.
I'm ready to eat behind that. But I want to acknowledge our musicians this evening, Jazz Safari. Yeah. They've been with us time and again, and we're so happy to have you. So I hope that you will continue to enjoy them as you eat your dessert. Thanks.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to the stage a distinguished vocalist, Mrs. Cheryl Borden. And on behalf of the Jazz Safari, we'd like to thank you, and we'd like to say we're very happy to see all of you here again.
you see, I'm no good without you. Take my lips, I want to use them. Take my arms, I'll never use. I never ever use them. Goodbye. Left me with eyes that cry. What can I go on without you? You took that part that was my heart. So why not take all? Why not take all? Why not take all of me? Oh, so long for this night I pray that a star would guide you my way to share with me this special day. Wear our ribbon in the sky for our love. If allowed, may I touch your hand, and then please, may I once again, so that you too can understand. Wear our ribbon in the sky for our love. This is not a coincidence, nor for more than a lucky chance. But what is what God always meant. Wear our ribbon in the sky, a ribbon in the sky, a ribbon in the sky for our love.
a dream that I can call my own. I found a thrill to stick my cheek to, a thrill that I have never known. Oh, you smile and you smile, and then the spell was cast, and here we are in heaven. For you were mine at last. I found a dream that I could speak to, a dream that I can call my own. I found a thrill to rest my cheek to, a thrill that I never known. And you smile, and then a spell was cast, and here we are in heaven. For you are mine at last. Oh, yeah, at last. All the while we were away from the Southern Federation. It was rough. And we're so glad to be back together again in this place. You know, it ain't no sunshine when you're gone. Ain't no sunshine when you're gone. Only darkness every day. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone in this house. Just ain't no home anytime he goes away. I wonder this time where he's gone. I wonder if he's going to stay. 'Cause ain't no sunshine when he's gone in this house. Just ain't no home anytime he goes away. I wonder this time where he's gone. I wonder if he's going to stay. 'Cause ain't no sunshine when he's gone in this house. Just ain't no home anytime he goes away. And I know, 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 I know. I know, 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 I know. Yeah, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. Yeah, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. Hey, I'm gonna lead a young thing along. 'Cause ain't no sunshine when he's gone, yeah. Oh. leave the young thing alone. 'Cause ain't no sunshine when he's gone. The fallen leaves drift by my window. The autumn leaves are red and gold. I see your lips, summer's kisses, the sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the day grow long, and soon I'm here. Oh, winter song, but I'll miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves start to fall. falling leaves drift by my window. Autumn leaves are red and gold. I see your lips, summer's kisses. Oh, 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 sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I'll hear old winter song. Oh, but I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves, when autumn leaves, when autumn leaves start to the shadow of your smile when you have gone will color all my dreams and light the dawn. Look into my eyes, my love, and see all the lovely things you are to me. I was a little star, was far too high. A teardrop kissed your lips, and so did I. Remember the shadow of
let's hear it for Jazz Safari. Okay. All right, family. At this time, I want us to bring forward our sister Alice Paris, who will introduce the Honorable Estelle Witherspoon speaking on her contribution to the Federation.
In 2001, the Estelle Witherspoon Award was created to honor one of the most heroic women in this country. Estelle Witherspoon was born in rural Wilcox County, the poorest county in Alabama, and lived there all her life. She played a pivotal role in moving the civil rights movement to the economic justice movement. Her brave actions led her community in determining not only their political destiny, but also their economic destiny in a harsh racial environment. Mrs. Witherspoon went about this work as a part of her everyday life. Tonight, we gather here to pay recognition to this unsung hero. Mrs. Estelle Witherspoon is best known for her role in the founding of the Freedom Quilting Bee, a premier quilt-making organization with national sales outlets. She was also a diligent worker and ardent supporter of the SCLC and Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. Mrs. Witherspoon worked to register voters and later remained active in voter education and get out the vote efforts in her community. She helped to create state, regional, and national organizations to further the economic progress of her community, including the Federation of Southern Cooperatives, the Alabama Cooperative Association, and a national craft marketing cooperative. Mrs. Witherspoon inspired so many people with her uncanny ability to take the simple resources of her community and market them around this nation effortlessly. Her capacity for trying new ideas, her gift for capturing the human potential, and the successes she gained for her fellow man are a bright beacon for others to follow. Good evening again. It's my pleasure this evening to introduce Ms. Witherspoon's family that's with us here tonight, and a big family at that, and her extended family. Ms. Witherspoon's daughter, Ms. Louise Williams. Her son-in-law, Louise's husband, Eugene Williams. Ms. Pamela Thornton, her niece, cousin, I'm sorry, Ms. Elaine Williams, Mr. Taylor Irby, and ladies and gentlemen, my distinct pleasure to introduce one of the original members of the Freedom Quilting Bee, Ms. Minnie Williams. I'm thankful to be able to join you one more time, and I'd also like you to know that the members of the community and her family have organized the Freedom Quilting Bee Legacy, and I'm sure we'll be hearing more from them in the future. But for tonight, we want to thank them for being with us as we honor the memory and the legacy of Mrs. Witherspoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. You know, when you have family gatherings, folk do different things at the same time. So this is a family reunion, and we do have folk doing different things at the same time. So it is my pleasure to bring forward one of our young cooperators, Ms. Briar Blakely. Briar, the daughter of board chairwoman Shirley Blakely and her father Larry Blakely, is a longtime cooperative member as well. She hasn't lived that long, but she's lived as a cooperative member. She lives in Atlanta and works for the Federation. She is originally from Sugar Land, Mississippi. She is a former contestant on NBC's The Voice, who has performed, and she has performed at our dinner over the years. So please join me in welcoming one of our baton lifters at this time, Blair Blakely.
Thank you. Before I sing, I just wanted to acknowledge the Federation and their contributions to just the world in general. The reputation really does speak for itself. And growing up, I remember, seeing co-ops and not really understanding the power in that. And so over the years, seeing the Federation evolve, 55 years of amazing work, that deserves a lot of praise. And I hope that this song tonight is a reminder of the power in being unified in solidarity. So I hope you all enjoy. When the night has come, and the land is dark, and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. Whoa, won't you stand by me? Whoa, stand by me on this journey. Won't you stand by me? Stand by me. And oh, my brothers, won't you stand by me? Whoa, stand by me on this journey to equality. Won't you stand by me? Stand by me. Oh, and when the sky that we look upon, oh, should tumble and fall, and the mountains should crumble to the sea. Oh, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me, and oh, won't 'cause none of them can stop the time. And won't you help me sing this song of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have is a redemption song. Redemption song. Redemption song.
All right, all right. Yeah, all right. That's our briar. All right. Before we have Brother George Paris to come and introduce our honoree, we will have a video presentation. And I want to say, to the Honorable Dr. Bernard Lafayette, Charles and I came from a town in Louisiana spelled the same way, but we called it Lafayette. You know? So, I don't know, but I'm just saying. So, we'll have the video at this time.
Welcome to our 55th annual meeting and the 21st annual Estelle Witherspoon Lifetime Achievement Award Ceremony. We are pleased to announce Dr. Bernard Lafayette Jr. is this year's recipient of the 21st annual Estelle Witherspoon Lifetime Achievement Award. It is an understatement to describe Dr. Lafayette as passionate about the philosophy and methodology of Kingian nonviolence. He is a civil rights movement activist, minister, educator, lecturer, and an authority on the strategy of nonviolent social change. He has devoted his life to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s final 1968 marching orders to institutionalize and internationalize nonviolence. Born on July 29, 1940, and raised in Tampa, Florida, to Bernard Lafayette Sr. and Verdell Lafayette, Dr. Lafayette is the eldest of 8 children. Dr. Bernard Lafayette Jr. is one of the unsung heroes of the American civil rights movement of the 1960s. Dr. Lafayette worked in many of the communities where the Federation of Southern Cooperatives Land Assistance Fund is active, and helped pave the way for the cooperative economic development and land retention justice movement that the Federation continues working on to this day. Dr. Lafayette was a co-founder of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee in 1960, along with James Lawson, John Lewis, Diane Nash, and James Belleville in the Nashville student movement of the early 1960s. Additionally, he was involved in the freedom rides to desegregate interstate travel. In 1962, he went to Selma to work with the Dallas County Voters League to develop the Selma voting rights movement, which resulted in the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Dr. Bernard Lafayette has traveled the world, spreading his message and teachings of nonviolence. He is married to Kate, and they have 2 sons and 7 grandchildren. With no further ado, please welcome Dr. Bernard Lafayette.
Good evening, everybody. When I was asked to do this, I didn't know that there was going to be a film presentation already, so most of the things I got here you've already heard. So bear with me if I repeat some things. Won't do very much of that. Today, I was talking to Cornelius. He'd say, George, use some brief words in your introductions. I say, Cornelius, just like the Dean of School of Agriculture, Dr. B.D. Mayberry, I saw the present Dean here a minute or two ago somewhere. But anyway, Dr. Mayberry's comments was, and he was asked to make a few brief comments. He said, you know, I don't believe I got no brief comments, so I will do the very best I can. Dr. Bernard Lafayette, Jr. has been a civil rights movement activist, minister, educator, lecturer, and is an authority on the strategy on nonviolent social change. He co-founded the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, in 1960. He was a leader of the Nashville movement, also in 1960, and he's also a freedom rider in 1961. And involved in the Selma movement, the civil rights movement from Selma to Montgomery in 1965. He directed the Alabama Voter Registration Project, and among many other things. His education was at the American Baptist Seminar in Nashville. Then he went on from there to a school in Boston, I believe it's called Harvard, the Harvard University, for a master's and a PhD. So it makes him a very learned person. He served on the faculties of Columbia Theological Seminary in Atlanta, the Alabama State University in Montgomery, where he was dean of the graduate school. He also was principal of Tuskegee Institute High School at one point in his career, and a teacher, fellow at his university, Harvard University. His publication includes a curriculum and training manual for the Martin Luther King Jr. Nonviolent Community Leadership Training Program. His doctoral thesis, Pedagogy of, I know that's not correct, what is it? There you go, for peace and nonviolence in campus ministries and social change in the 60s at Duke University Review. And the Leader's Manual, a structured guide, an introduction to Kingdom Nonviolence with David Jensen. Dr. Lafayette has traveled extensive to many countries as a lecturer and consultant on peace and nonviolence. He's a native of Tampa, Florida, and is married to the former Kate Bulls of Tuskegee, Alabama, and he has two sons, James and Bernard III. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming my honoree for tonight, Reverend Dr. Brother Man, lecturer, left out something, Dr. Bernard Lafayette.
That's great, that's great. You know, I've received a lot of honors in my lifetime, but I tell you, I am absolutely moved to be honored by you and what you've done. And when I look over this audience and I see all the groups and organizations and things that you've done to come together to make a difference in the world, and that's what I mean, in the world. You have no idea of the impact that you've made in this world. My remarks, they told me over and over again, on the telephone, in person, and whisper, and then say it out loud, be brief. Now,
Now, for some people like me, it would be difficult, but it's not difficult for me at all. I just want to let you know that I used to pastor Westminster Presbyterian Church in Tuskegee, Alabama. And that's a Presbyterian church, although I'm a Baptist preacher. But when I went there, they asked me to be the speaker to give the sermon. And I asked one of the elders, and the elders run the church. It's not like Baptists, you know, where the deacons try. The elders, they call them elders. I asked one of the elders, and if I call his name, you would know it. And I asked him, I said, well, how long do you have in this service, you know, the worship service, for the sermon? Because I wanted to be respectful, okay, of what they are used to. He was so chagrined, and he backed off and looked at me. He said, now, Reverend, I don't know what you've heard about the Presbyterian Church, but we do not have a limit on the sermon. Oh. He said that you could preach as long as you want to. We leave at 12. So I learned to leave when the people leave. So it may surprise you, although I'm a Baptist preacher, I can be brief. In fact, I'm almost through now. When I think of the movement, I think of so many things, but then there's some that I've actually forgotten. Yes, they took place so long ago until I just really have to, you know, be reminded of certain things. And they come to me when I'm reminded. And one thing I was reminded of that most people don't know, I'll just say this very briefly. I was here in Birmingham when we were training young people to participate in the movement because we knew that they were coming. And what happened was that the ministers, that's, you know, Reverend Shellsworth and Reverend Abernathy and, you know, Reverend Martin Luther King and others with the church over there. And they were going to have a discussion about whether or not they were going to allow the young people to participate in the marches and demonstrations. Because up to that point, it had only been adults, and we'd exhausted the group of adults who were able to go to jail. Okay? So the question is whether or not these young people were going to come. And while we were at the church having a discussion about whether or not we were going to allow them to come, they started showing up and filled up the church. I was there. So the discussion changed to whether we were going to allow them to come and march to how we're going to stop them. They were ready to go. Yes. It's a miracle. They really made a big difference. And they went out there with courage. Yeah. Alexander Brown was one of them. And Alexander Brown ended up coming down to Selma, Alabama to help me get people registered to vote and organize the students, because the principal of the school in Selma, Alabama, he said that if you come on the campus, he's talking to me now, I'm going to have you arrested. So rather than getting myself arrested, Alexander Brown was the one, because he was a high school student from Birmingham. And he's the one that went, okay? And of course, we had Ms. Rose Sanders, and Senator Hank Sanders knows about all this, okay? And the young people are the ones who made the difference. And I just want you to know that what we've got to do, these are my closing remarks, what we've got to do now to make a difference in the future, if we're going to institutionalize and internationalize nonviolence, we need to build student leadership. And one way we do this, and there are many ways, but I don't have time, is to organize a youth legislature that replicates the same as our adult legislature, okay? And have the students from age 12 to 17 vote for their representatives and their senators. You could even have a student governor. Okay? Yeah. You could have a student attorney general. Yeah, same as they have on the adult level. And what they can do, now you can't do this according to their residential location. They could be in the same district, but it has to be within the schools that they go to, because they have a chance to meet together. And you bring these students together and you get them to start voting. And then every month, you got a whole bunch of students that turn 18 and they could register to vote. So when they bring their voter registration, card to the meeting once a month, you can give them prizes and awards and stuff like that, etc. And then they actually participate, you see. But the point is, it's just like you do driver's education. You can do voter registration education. And then they can have an elected official from the adults to come once a month and talk about what they're going to vote on and what bills are in the Congress, in the legislature, and what decisions they're trying to make and all that. And then they got to have a weekly television program where nothing but young people get a chance to discuss the issues among themselves. Somebody could do that. So that's all I do, is just give suggestions and recommendations. And then I wait, take my medicine, and see what's going to happen next. Thank you for this award.
Thank you, Dr. Lafayette. While our fearless leader is approaching, I'd like to take a minute or two of your time, if you don't mind, and ask you to especially welcome and say a special thanks to our first leader and his family, Mr. Charles O'Prajon, who's sitting here. Would y'all give him a hand? Thank you so much. Certainly glad to see all of you again. And I think we got some more information coming from Charles at a later date, and he will share that with all of us at a certain time. Thank you.
I'm going to ask the board to come up. Yeah, so Dr. Bernard Lafayette, on behalf of this board, our entire membership, this organization, we want to present you with the 21st Estelle Witherspoon Lifetime Achievement Award. So you know, you talk about us not knowing the impact that we've had on the world. We want you to know the impact that you and your work have had on us and this world. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I am just overwhelmed. And my wife, Kate Lafayette, who you mentioned, okay, Booker T. Washington's office boy, that was her father. Yes. Stand, Kate. You know. So she supported me as I went around the world, working on fulfilling Martin Luther King's dream. And I have to say that I didn't expect to get this award. And I want to say that I'm overwhelmed. Yes, I've gotten many awards, many accolades and stuff like that. But here, this group, and what you represent the soil of our souls when you talk about the land. And we will continue to grow and develop because of you. And that's why I want the young people to follow in your footsteps, and then I can rest in peace like my other fellow workers. And as we think about those who have gone before us, we think about what they have left for us, and not only for us to receive, but what they've left for us to give. And that would be our value. What we value are the things that we leave for others. Thank you very much.
right, family. This is just the first day of our family reunion. Remember, we have Friday and Saturday in Epps, Alabama. So be sure that we continue our celebration there. And on behalf of Brother Wendell and myself, I want to thank you for letting us host you tonight and hope you had a good time. And our leader, Cornelius Blanding, will close us out. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Carol, and Dr. Bernard Lafayette. It's an honor, sir, to be able to honor you tonight. Tonight has been a special night. It's been great. This is the first time we've been back together in 3 years now, and we didn't know if we were going to be able to pull this off. So thank you all. Briar, so it's amazing to see. I remember when I first started with the Federation 25 years ago, and Briar was on the stage, and she was 3 or 4, she was a baby. And so it's amazing to see purpose to that talent. I also want to, sometimes we don't know everybody and everything that we have in the room. And so amongst you, there's farmers who've been recognized by CNN as a hero, Mr. Bobby Wilson. And Bobby, I hope that when you take that honor from CNN, you make sure you highlight black farmers in your life and all of our lives. And let's honor each other. Before I close out, I'll be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to at least hear from, again, my predecessor's predecessor and somebody who has become a mentor to me. I've had the opportunity over the last few years to really get to know the first executive director of the Federation, the first board chair, and somebody who was instrumental in organizing this organization. And I've been able to sit down and not only get to know him, but I've been able to sit down and have the opportunity to get to know his wife and his family. And it's been an honor for me. It's something that I never would have dreamed of. I came to this organization only studying your work and really learning from afar, and so it's been a huge blessing for me. And so I want to take this opportunity to bring you the mic to say a couple of words before I close out, if you don't mind, sir.
I have a mic right here. Not that way.
Tell you better move fast, we'll tear it up.
Well, it's obvious, Reverend Dr. Bernard Lafayette, I'm not as chipper as you are, although I think we were born around the same time, 1941, and so I'm 81, and I think you are 80, or 80. Well, I don't want to tell you your age, never mind. Thank you very much, Cornelius, and I'm not a Baptist preacher nor a Presbyterian preacher, so I'm somewhere in between, and I'm going to try to make this somewhat brief. Let me just say that it's an honor to be associated with the Federation of Southern Cooperatives all these years. I'm impressed with the leadership of the Federation of Southern Cooperatives. I think they're doing a fantastic job, and I encourage them to continue. I want to thank you, Reverend Lafayette. As I listen to you, I appreciate what you said about the youngsters. And actually, you've not forgotten your years of mobilizing communities and organizing communities, and now you've taken that form of organization and whatnot to the 21st century level. A new way of organizing, but also expressing the importance of bringing people together, bringing the youth together, and preparing them for the future adult careers and adult lives, and to remain in connection with the history of poor and black people. So thank you for your insight and your taking us into the future and telling us how to do it in the future. I want to also say just a couple of things about this, about the people that I met, some of the people I met tonight, Minnie and Louise from Alberta, and G's Ben Harry and whatnot. And if you don't mind, and I'm not trying to understate the importance of the award, Mrs. Witherspoon Award, but Mrs. Witherspoon also had a husband whose name was Eugene Witherspoon. And he was really a nice fellow. And I don't know, Louise, if you remember some of those stories that he used to tell. And the one about one night he went fishing, and he caught a fish that was longer than his boat. And he had difficulties bringing it in, but he was able to do it, and it fed the whole community for the whole week. I say that about Mr. Witherspoon because he was an important person too in that movement, and he supported Mrs. Estelle Witherspoon very well, and I miss them, and I miss the things that I learned from them, just sitting on the porch after supper or something, and listening to them tell stories about the past and how it was, what they had to do to survive, and that made a deep impression on me. And sometimes I used to feel guilty at night because here I was with the Federation, supposed to be bringing assistance to them and whatnot, and I was learning all of this wisdom and stuff, and I felt I was cheating them because they were offering me something more valuable, I thought, than what I was offering them. Nonetheless, you know, like if one, there's so much to learn from people who've had to struggle and who gain wisdom from that struggle. I enjoyed your little comment, brother, about Kennedy and how everybody, I mean, you know, like everybody has something to offer. And sometimes we don't recognize the little things that people do that are so important, and without that, the thing that was accomplished would not have been accomplished. The Federation of Southern Cooperatives for 55 years or so is a miracle that we are still in existence. I remember people telling us poor people could not organize and work towards the transformation of their lives. They needed people with PhDs and all of that. Well, yeah, we needed them, but we also needed the people on the ground, too. They can learn, they can become managers, they can become accountants, you know, and you know, it's almost like if you don't involve the people and whatnot, in the process and whatnot, you're not going to get it done. Because it's their lives they're trying to transform, and that is very important to them. And even more important than the people who make the decisions in the office sometimes. It's a grassroots organization, and it needs to be, we need to remind folks of the capacity of people to participate in the transformation of their lives. I don't know if it's out of place, Cornelius, to mention something that appeared in the E-News letter recently. Is it E-News? Or what is
E-News. Yes, sir.
Can I mention that?
Yes, sir.
If you read it, you notice that the Federation recently created a memorial committee. And the memorial committee consists of past staff people and people associated with the Federation of Southern, mostly staff people. 11 of us, including Cornelius and including Tandil and Daniels. And what we've been doing is, it's called the Federation of Southern Cooperatives / LAF Memorial Committee. And the purpose of that committee is to honor the people who were responsible in organizing the Federation, creating the Federation, and supporting the Federation over the years, including the local folks in those communities, the people who organized the local communities and ran those local communities and were making their contributions to the future generation. Where do we have in this country such an organization that raised the importance of people at that level to show their value and their contribution to the work of human betterment, black betterment? The Federation tells that story, and part of that is telling that story of the Federation, leaving something concrete for others to come see and learn from and be inspired by. So, we're moving along with this, and we're going to hear more about that, and I didn't want to take any thunder away from the board and from Cornelius, but we are so pleased that we have their support and that we are part of this effort. We have some wisdom and to contribute towards this. And when we put that wisdom together with the talents that you have on your board and on the staff, I think we can make that project successful, creating, maybe a memorial that memorialize the deceased members of our communities. Also, organizations like Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SNCC, and CORE, who came before us and who enabled us to move into those communities with an emphasis on economic development, because they had done the mobilization work and organization work as far as voter education was concerned, and they were also moving in the same direction as we were moving with those, with the folks that they worked with. So, we joined, we were enabled to move in those communities and to move forward from that level. So we will be developing edifices and other memorial artistic and symbols that shows their contribution, and folks can come see the story of the Federation being told in that form. So, I want to thank you, Federation Board of Directors, as well as Cornelius, for enabling us to participate in this effort. And I'm telling you, we will not disappoint you. We have some good people on the board, and we're making some good contacts, and we're going to bring in some money for the Federation of Southern Cooperatives, too.
You won't disappoint then. So, Mr. Prejean, again, I say thank you, and thank you for chairing that memorial committee, because it is an important committee as we honor this organization and all those folks who built this organization. And more importantly, thank you for making sure that we know the things that we don't know. So that's the value of you and all of you. There's a lot of you in the room that serve in the Memorial Committee who's been a part of this organization and been a part of me growing. And I say thank you to all of you. It's a value it's an honor being a part of this organization, serving it, and more importantly, learning about it, learning about each one of you, and learning this work. Dr. Bernard, again, thank you, sir. It was an honor being in your presence, serving and really understanding about your strategy and the work that you've been doing as part of the overall movement and how it has led the way for so many of us. That memorial committee, your work and all that is the value. When we talk about the youth, we have to make sure that they see something. And so again, thank you all for leading the way, and we look forward to memorializing this work this organization and everything that it is, all the folks that make up this organization. And Carol, I always remember your words and your questions when you say, well, we are the Federation. And so this is the Federation here. And let's make sure that we memorialize it in the work. We're going to continue on. This is our 55th celebration. Friday and Saturday, we're going to be in Epps, Alabama. Friday for a USDA panel, for a fish fry, for some other workshops. On Saturday, we do the business of this organization, and the membership come together and caucus and talk about how we move forward. And we're going to get a chance to hear from folks about the new legislation and things that are coming out and how it impacts us, so we get a chance to respond and get a chance to work on the things that impact our own communities. There's a reception after this downstairs right across from the restaurant, so we can continue this party. We're going to celebrate these 55 years, hopefully with some possum, some coon, and that mouth-watering ham that you talked about, Reverend Paris. Thank you all for being here. It's a pleasure seeing these faces again. Thank you to the board, to the membership, to all of you who made this night possible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello? Somebody lost a phone, a cell phone outside. Looks like an apple.